Ryan walked slowly along the cracked sidewalk at the edge of the city. The afternoon sun had begun its descent, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. He always loved exploring forgotten places, and today he had heard rumors about an old subway tunnel that no one used anymore. Most people avoided it, saying it was dangerous or haunted. But for Ryan, danger was part of the thrill. His backpack carried a small flashlight, a notebook, and some tools, just in case he found something worth studying. The entrance to the tunnel was hidden behind an old metal gate that had rusted through in several places. Ryan pushed it gently and stepped inside. The air changed immediately. It was warmer here, heavier somehow, like the tunnel was holding a secret. Dust floated in the weak light that came from his flashlight, and the smell of old stone mixed with damp air made him feel alive and alert. He carefully walked forward, tapping the walls with his hand as he moved, noticing faded graffiti and old advertisements from decades ago. As he ventured further, Ryan saw something unusual. A small light flickered ahead, like a candle, but steadier. His heart beat a little faster. He had expected emptiness, silence, maybe rats, but not this. Curiosity pushed him closer. Then he heard a soft humming, almost musical. It wasn't loud, but it was steady, coming from the tunnel's deeper part. "Hello," Ryan called, his voice echoing slightly. There was no reply. The humming continued. He stepped carefully over broken tiles and debris, following the sound. Finally, he saw her. Mara was crouched near an old electrical panel, her dark hair tied back, her hands working with wires and small tools. She looked up at him with wide eyes, surprise and caution clear in her gaze. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady despite the sudden intrusion. I'm Ryan," he said, raising his hand slightly to show he meant no harm. "I didn't know anyone was here." Mara studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Not many people come down here," she said. "I didn't expect anyone." Ryan noticed how calm she seemed, even in this abandoned tunnel. Her eyes reflected the faint glow of the small lights she had arranged along the walls. Unlike the darkness he expected, the tunnel was alive with faint warmth and a soft glow, almost like a small world hidden beneath the city. "What are you doing?" Ryan asked, pointing to the wires and panels. "I've been studying this tunnel," Mara explained. "It has old electrical systems, but there's also natural heat that moves through it. I'm trying to understand it. Keep it safe, you know." Ryan's eyes widened with fascination. He had studied old systems before, but this was different. Mara had made this forgotten place feel alive. He felt a spark of excitement and admiration. "That's amazing," he said. "I didn't know someone could do this down here." "It's impressive." Mara smiled faintly but returned to her work. "It takes time. And patience. You can't rush these things." For a moment, they just watched each other. The soft humming filled the space, the faint warmth wrapped around them, and Ryan felt a strange calmness. It was like stepping into a world outside time, a place that existed for those who wanted to notice it. "I can help, if you want," Ryan finally said. "I know a bit about old systems. Maybe we can figure it out together." Mara paused and considered him. "Maybe," she said slowly. "But you have to promise to be careful. One wrong move and the whole system could short out." "I promise," he said, smiling. For the next hour, they moved through the tunnel carefully. Ryan followed Mara, learning about the hidden paths and small corners she had made her own. They discovered old murals that had been painted over, cracks that glowed faintly with warmth from below, and the soft, humming energy that ran through the walls. By the time Ryan finally looked at his watch, the sun had disappeared completely, leaving only the faint light from the city above and the small glow of their lights in the tunnel. He realized he had never felt more alive. Mara, too, seemed lighter somehow, as if sharing this hidden world made it less lonely. As they prepared to leave, Ryan felt a strange pull. Not just fascination with the tunnel, but with the girl who had made it her home. Mara glanced at him and gave a small nod, almost like an invitation to return. Ryan stepped back into the city air, feeling the chill of the evening, but the warmth of the tunnel stayed with him. He knew he would return, and that somehow, this abandoned place had already begun to change both their lives. The next day, Ryan found himself standing at the entrance of the old subway tunnel again. The city above was busy with cars and people rushing home, but below, the air was calm, almost welcoming. He carried his backpack with the same tools as yesterday, along with a small notebook to jot down anything interesting. He had made up his mind, he wanted to learn more about the tunnel and, more importantly, about Mara, the girl who seemed to know its secrets. When he stepped inside, the familiar warmth immediately wrapped around him. The faint glow of small lights guided his path as he walked toward the deeper part of the tunnel. Soon, he saw Mara working near a cluster of old pipes, her hands steady as she adjusted some wiring. She looked up, surprised to see him again. "You're back," she said, raising an eyebrow. "I promised," Ryan replied with a small smile. "I want to help." Mara studied him for a moment. "All right," she said finally. "But you need to follow my instructions. This tunnel is delicate, and I don't want anyone getting hurt." Ryan nodded eagerly. "I understand." Together, they moved slowly, clearing small debris and repairing broken panels. Mara showed him how to read the old electrical diagrams, pointing out wires that were still live and areas that needed caution. Ryan was impressed by her knowledge. She had transformed a forgotten, dangerous space into a carefully maintained secret. As they worked side by side, small moments made Ryan's heart race. Their hands brushed while passing tools. They exchanged glances that lingered a little longer than necessary. When Mara laughed at one of his mistakes, the sound echoed softly through the tunnel, making Ryan smile. It was not just the tunnel that felt alive, it was the energy between them. "Why do you stay down here all the time?" Ryan asked during a short break, sitting on an old concrete ledge. The warmth from the tunnel seeped into his clothes, making him feel oddly comfortable. Mara paused, thoughtful. "It's peaceful. The city above, it moves too fast. Down here, I can think, I can work. It's like another world." She looked at him, her eyes softening. "And now, it's less lonely." Ryan felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the tunnel. "I understand. I feel the same. Up there, everyone is busy, and people don't notice things like this. But down here, it feels like time is ours." For a while, they just sat quietly, listening to the soft hum of the tunnel. Ryan realized he had never felt so connected to someone so quickly. Mara's presence was calming yet exciting, like standing on the edge of something new and unknown. After the break, they continued exploring. They found a small side passage blocked by fallen bricks. Mara carefully removed them, revealing a hidden section of the tunnel that glowed with heat from underground vents. The warmth was stronger here, almost like the tunnel was breathing. Ryan's eyes widened. "This is incredible," he whispered. Mara smiled. It's one of my favorite spots. No one else knows about it? She gestured for him to come closer. The heat here can be used. I've been thinking about how it might generate energy one day. Ryan was amazed. You're thinking about using the tunnel's natural heat? That's genius. Mara shrugged. Maybe. I just want to see if it's possible. I need someone to help me figure it out. She looked at him with a mixture of hope and challenge. I'd love to help, Ryan said immediately. As they worked together to study the heat vents, the tunnel seemed to respond to their attention. The faint lights reflected off the walls, making the space feel alive. Ryan noticed how Mara's hair fell over her face as she leaned closer to examine a vent. He caught himself staring, but she didn't seem to mind. Hours passed quickly. The city above had grown dark, and Ryan knew it was late, but neither of them seemed to notice. For the first time, Ryan realized the tunnel was more than an abandoned place. It was a world that belonged to them, where they could explore ideas, share laughter, and discover the beginnings of something deeper. Before leaving, Mara stood near the entrance, looking at Ryan. You're serious about helping, aren't you? Of course, he said. I want to learn. And I like being here with you. Mara's smile was small, but her eyes sparkled in the dim light. I like that too, she admitted softly. As Ryan stepped back into the cool night air, he felt the pull of the tunnel and the girl who had made it her world. He knew he would return, and not just for the tunnel. There was something here, something exciting, warm, and new that he wanted to explore further. The city buzzed around him, but Ryan didn't feel lost anymore. Below the streets, in a place forgotten by everyone else, he had found curiosity, adventure, and a spark of connection that made the cold night feel warmer than ever. The next evening, Ryan returned to the tunnel with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Mara was already there, kneeling near one of the older electrical panels, her hands moving with careful precision. The faint glow of the lights reflected off her face, highlighting her focused expression. When she noticed Ryan, she looked up and smiled. You're early, she said, brushing a stray lock of hair behind her ear. I couldn't wait, Ryan admitted, smiling back. I want to help with whatever you're working on today. Mara nodded and led him deeper into the tunnel. There's something I want to show you, she said. But we need to be careful. This part hasn't been checked in years. As they moved forward, Ryan felt the familiar warmth of the tunnel surround him. But something was different this time. The hum that usually sounded gentle now had a subtle intensity. He noticed small cracks along the walls and floor that he hadn't seen before. See those cracks? Ryan asked, pointing. They look unstable. Mara examined them with a serious expression. Yes, she said. The tunnel shifts sometimes. If we're not careful, it could collapse in spots. Despite the warning, Ryan felt a thrill. Danger had always been part of exploration, but now it carried a new meaning with Mara beside him. We'll be careful, he said confidently. They approached a section where an old support beam leaned slightly. Mara instructed Ryan to hold a light while she inspected the wiring nearby. As he did, his hand accidentally brushed against hers. The touch was brief, but it made both of them pause. Mara gave him a small smile, and Ryan's heart beat faster. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the tunnel. Dust fell from the ceiling, and small pieces of brick tumbled onto the floor. Ryan instinctively grabbed Mara's arm to steady her. Are you okay? He asked, concern in his voice. I'm fine, Mara replied, her calm tone barely masking a flicker of worry. The structure is weaker than I thought. They moved carefully to a safer spot, their hands still brushing occasionally. The shared tension made the tunnel feel even more alive, every sound echoing through the space around them. Once they reached a more stable area, Ryan looked at Mara. "That was close," he said, trying to keep his voice light. "But we handled it well." Mara nodded. "Yes, but we need to watch every step. This tunnel is beautiful, but it can be unforgiving if we are careless." Despite the danger, the two of them continued their exploration. Mara led him to a small chamber where the natural heat from underground vents was concentrated. Steam rose gently from cracks in the floor, and the warmth was almost comforting after the tense moments earlier. "This is one of the safest spots," Mara explained. "I like to come here when I need to think. It's warm, quiet, almost like it's protecting me." Ryan smiled. "It's amazing. I can see why you love this place." He looked around, then back at her. "And I can see why it feels special to you." For a few moments, they just stood together, the soft warmth wrapping around them. Ryan felt a strange mix of calm and excitement, as if the tunnel itself was encouraging him to be honest. "Mara," he said softly, "I like being here with you. More than I expected." Mara's eyes softened. "I like it too," she admitted. She stepped closer, and for a moment, the world outside the tunnel seemed to disappear. Before they could linger, a small collapse from the ceiling sent dust falling around them again. They quickly moved back to a safer corner, laughing nervously. "Okay," Mara said, brushing herself off, "maybe we should take a short break." They sat on an old ledge, side by side. The danger had made them more aware of each other, and their hands brushed once more. Neither pulled away immediately. The tension from earlier was replaced with a warm, comfortable closeness. "I never thought an abandoned tunnel could feel so alive," Ryan said, glancing around. "And I never thought it could make me feel like this." Mara smiled softly. "It's not just the tunnel," she said. "It's the people who care about it. And about each other." As the night grew deeper, they stayed in the tunnel, talking quietly, sharing stories about their lives above ground and their dreams for the future. Ryan realized that the tunnel wasn't just a place for exploration, it was a place for connection. The danger had reminded them how fragile everything could be, and that made their bond feel stronger. When it was finally time to leave, they walked slowly toward the entrance. Ryan glanced at Mara, who looked back at him with a gentle smile. "We'll come back tomorrow," she said, and he nodded. The city lights were bright above, but Ryan already missed the tunnel's warmth. He knew that the abandoned subway was no longer just a forgotten place, it had become a space where trust, courage, and the beginnings of something special could grow. The tunnel smelled of warm stone and dust as Ryan stepped inside once again. He had been coming every evening for the past few days, fascinated by the hidden world below the city. Tonight, however, he felt something different, a sense that Mara wanted to share more than just the tunnel with him. She was waiting near the familiar heat vents, adjusting some wires, her face focused but soft in the dim glow. "Hey," Ryan greeted quietly, not wanting to startle her. Mara looked up and smiled faintly. "Hey," she replied. Then she gestured for him to follow. "I want to show you something important tonight," she said. Curious, Ryan followed as she led him to a corner of the tunnel he had not seen before. There were old, worn panels and a small, enclosed area that seemed carefully maintained. Mara paused, her eyes meeting his. "Ryan. I think it's time I tell you why I live down here, she said, her voice calm but serious. Ryan nodded. I want to know, he said. Mara took a deep breath. I'm hiding from people who didn't believe in me. Above ground, my ideas were ignored. People said I was too young, too inexperienced. But down here, I can work, I can experiment, and I can learn. No one bothers me, and I can try things my way. Ryan felt admiration rise in his chest. That's really brave, he said. You've made a whole world down here for yourself. And it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Mara's eyes softened. Thank you. Most people would just see this as an abandoned tunnel. But I see possibilities, energy, warmth, patterns. I've been studying how the natural heat moves through the walls and vents. Someday, I hope to show the world what I've discovered. But until then, it's my secret. Ryan nodded, understanding the care she had taken to protect her hidden place. I want to help, he said gently. If you let me, I can support you. We can figure things out together. Mara hesitated for a moment, then smiled softly. I think I'd like that, she admitted. But you have to promise to be careful. One wrong move, and everything could go wrong. I promise, Ryan said firmly. They spent the next hour exploring the hidden section. Mara showed Ryan small devices she had built to measure heat flow and adjust the old wiring safely. She explained how energy could be harvested if they learned the tunnel's patterns correctly. Ryan listened closely, fascinated by her knowledge and determination. Every detail she shared made him respect her more, and he felt a deep connection forming as they worked side by side. During a pause, Ryan noticed the way Mara moved, confident and careful. You really know this place, he said. It's amazing how much you've done. Mara shrugged modestly. I've spent years studying it. I like working alone, but it's better with someone I can trust. She glanced at him, and for a brief moment, their eyes locked in the dim light. A warmth passed between them, quiet but undeniable. Ryan felt his heart beat faster. I trust you, he said softly. And I like being here with you. Mara's lips curved into a small, shy smile. I like that too, she admitted. They continued working, adjusting small circuits and making careful notes. The tunnel seemed to hum around them, the heat and energy creating a comforting presence. As they moved through the space, Mara shared stories of her past experiments and the mistakes she had learned from. Ryan listened intently, offering encouragement and ideas. The collaboration deepened their bond, blending admiration, respect, and a subtle excitement that neither had fully acknowledged before. Hours passed, and the city above had gone completely dark. The tunnel's warmth and soft glow created a private world for them. Mara finally leaned back against the wall, exhausted but happy. Ryan did the same, sitting beside her. I feel like this tunnel has more life than the city above, Ryan said quietly. And it feels safer here, somehow. Mara smiled, her eyes reflecting the small lights around them. It's more than just the tunnel. It's the care we put into it, and the people we share it with, she said softly. Ryan nodded, understanding. The tunnel had given him a place to explore, a challenge to enjoy, and now, a connection with someone extraordinary. He realized that the secret Mara had shared made their bond stronger. He wasn't just helping her with her experiments, he was becoming part of her world. As they finally made their way back toward the entrance, Mara looked at him with a small, hopeful smile. "Thank you for trusting me," she said. "No," Ryan replied gently. "Thank you for letting me in." The city lights above shone brightly, but neither of them felt drawn back to the busy streets. Below, in the warmth of the tunnel, they had discovered trust, understanding, and the beginning of something that could grow into much more. Ryan arrived at the tunnel just as the evening shadows began to stretch across the city. The familiar warmth of the abandoned subway greeted him, and the soft hum of the vents made him feel immediately at ease. Mara was already there, moving carefully between panels and small devices she had set up. When she noticed him, her face lit up in a gentle smile. "Ready to start?" she asked. "Absolutely," Ryan said, setting his backpack down and unpacking the tools he had brought. "What are we working on today?" Mara led him to a section of the tunnel where the natural heat from underground vents was strongest. "I want to see if we can use this heat safely to create energy," she explained. "I've done some small tests alone, but with your help, we can try a bigger experiment." Ryan nodded eagerly. "Sounds exciting. Let's do it." They worked together carefully, adjusting wires, connecting small devices, and checking the temperature and airflow from the vents. Mara explained each step, showing him how the heat could be transferred through special panels to produce usable energy. Ryan listened attentively, asking questions and offering ideas. The two of them moved smoothly as a team, their movements almost instinctive. At one point, Ryan handed Mara a screwdriver, and their fingers brushed briefly. A small smile passed between them, and for a moment, the tunnel seemed to grow warmer with more than just the natural heat. Neither spoke, but the connection was clear. Hours passed, and the devices began to respond. Small lights flickered on, powered by the tunnel's heat. Mara's eyes sparkled with excitement. "It's working," she whispered. "We're really doing it." Ryan grinned, feeling a rush of pride. "We make a great team," he said. They continued fine-tuning the experiment, moving closer to each other as they worked. At one point, Mara leaned over to adjust a panel, and Ryan instinctively steadied it for her. Their hands met again, lingering a little longer this time. The closeness made the air feel even warmer, not just from the tunnel but from the unspoken feelings growing between them. "Ryan," Mara said softly, glancing up at him, "I never thought I'd be able to share this with anyone. Most people don't understand. But you actually care. You want to help." "I do," Ryan said, his voice gentle. "And I want to be here for you, Mara. Not just with the tunnel, but with everything." Mara's smile deepened, and she looked away briefly, pretending to adjust a wire, though her eyes kept glancing at him. The warmth between them was growing stronger, blending curiosity, admiration, and something deeper neither had named yet. As the experiment continued, the lights they had powered began to glow steadily, filling the tunnel with a soft, golden warmth. They stepped back to watch, side by side, the glow reflecting in their eyes. It was more than just electricity, it was a symbol of what they had created together, combining their skills, patience, and trust. Ryan reached out and gently brushed a stray lock of hair from Mara's face. "This is incredible," he said softly. "Not just the energy, but us working together." Mara's cheeks turned slightly pink, and she laughed softly. "You make it sound poetic," she said, though her smile revealed she was pleased. For a moment, they just stood there, the hum of the tunnel and the warm glow of the lights surrounding them. It was quiet, private, and safe, a world where only they existed. The excitement of the experiment, the thrill of discovery, and the closeness between them made the tunnel feel like more than just a hidden place. It was theirs. When it was finally time to pack up, Ryan and Mara moved slowly, reluctant to break the spell of the evening. They carefully stored their tools and checked the panels one last time. Mara turned to him as they reached the entrance. "Thank you, Ryan," she said softly. "I couldn't have done this without you." Ryan smiled warmly. "We did it together. And I'm glad. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now." Mara's eyes met his, and the unspoken feelings that had been growing over the past days hung between them, strong and clear. The tunnel was warm, the lights softly glowing, and for the first time, they realized that their connection was more than just friendship or shared curiosity. It was something special. As they stepped out into the cool evening air above ground, Ryan felt a mix of excitement and calm. The city hummed around them, but they had something unique below the streets, a secret world of warmth, discovery, and growing love. And they both knew they would return, not just to explore the tunnel, but to explore the possibilities of what they were building together. The next evening, Ryan hurried toward the entrance of the tunnel. The city above was busy, cars rushing by, lights glowing in the streets, but below, the familiar warmth awaited him. Tonight, he felt a sense of excitement mixed with nervousness. Something was different. He could almost feel that their small experiments might attract attention. Mara was already inside, kneeling near the heat generator they had set up in the tunnel. Her dark hair fell over her face as she adjusted wires and checked the devices. When she noticed Ryan, she gave him a small, tired smile. "You're here," she said quietly. "Good. I was just running a test." Ryan stepped closer. "How's it going?" he asked. "Better than yesterday," Mara replied. "The energy output is more stable. I think we might finally get a visible result above ground." Ryan's eyes widened. "Really? That's amazing." They worked side by side, carefully monitoring the generator, adjusting small panels, and checking temperatures. The tunnel glowed softly from the lights powered by their experiment, filling the space with warmth and a sense of accomplishment. Every now and then, their hands brushed as they passed tools or held panels steady, and each touch sent a subtle thrill through both of them. After several hours, Mara suggested they run a final test before leaving. "This one might be visible from the city above," she said. "I think the heat energy could create small light pulses that people can see from the streets." Ryan nodded eagerly. "Let's do it." They adjusted the generator together, and as the energy stabilized, the lights in the tunnel began to pulse rhythmically. The effect was subtle at first, then grew stronger, casting a soft, golden glow that seemed to ripple along the tunnel walls. Above ground, someone might have noticed, but down here, it was just Mara, Ryan, and the tunnel, alive with energy. Mara looked at Ryan, her eyes wide with excitement. "It's working. We did it." Ryan grinned. "We really did. I knew we could." The success of the experiment brought a new energy between them. They laughed, shared glances, and high-fived lightly. The tunnel seemed to hum in agreement, as if it recognized their teamwork and dedication. Mara's cheeks flushed with pride, and Ryan felt a warm admiration he could no longer hide. For a moment, they just stood together, watching the generator pulse. Ryan noticed the way the soft light reflected in Mara's eyes, how her smile brightened the dim tunnel. "Mara," he said softly, "I'm so glad I'm here with you. Everything we're doing, it's incredible." Mara's smile softened, and she looked at him with a mixture of happiness and something unspoken. "I'm glad you're here too, Ryan," she admitted. I never thought anyone would understand this place like you do. And I feel like we make a good team, in more ways than one. Ryan felt his heart skip a beat. I think so too, he said, his voice gentle. The tunnel grew quieter, filled only with the gentle hum of the generator and the warmth of the heat vents. The shared success and closeness made everything feel safer, more personal. For the first time, Ryan realized that the tunnel had given him more than adventure. It had given him a connection, a friendship, and something deeper. As the night went on, they carefully shut down the generator, making notes of their results. Mara leaned against the wall, tired but content. Ryan sat beside her, feeling the warmth of the tunnel and the presence of someone extraordinary. You know, Ryan said quietly, I think people above ground might notice soon. Our light pulses, they're visible. Someone might come looking. Mara nodded thoughtfully. That's okay, she said. I want my work to be recognized one day. But for now, I like that we did it together, in our secret place. Ryan smiled, reaching out to gently touch her hand. Mara didn't pull away, and their eyes met in the dim glow of the tunnel. The connection between them was strong, quiet but undeniable. As they finally prepared to leave, Ryan glanced at Mara, and she returned the look with a small, shy smile. Tomorrow, she said softly, we can plan the next experiment. I have some ideas. Ryan nodded. I can't wait. And I want to be here for all of them. With you. Mara's smile deepened, and for a moment, the tunnel felt warmer than ever. The glow of their small generator, the hum of energy, and the connection they shared made it clear that their partnership had grown into something more than curiosity or adventure. It was trust, admiration, and the first spark of love. As they stepped out into the cool night air, the city lights shining above, Ryan felt a sense of pride and excitement. Their experiment had succeeded, but more importantly, their bond had deepened. The abandoned subway tunnel, once forgotten and silent, had become a place of discovery, energy, and connection, and a world where two hearts were quietly finding each other. The tunnel hummed softly as Ryan descended the steps, carrying his backpack and a quiet excitement. It had been weeks since their first meeting, and the abandoned subway had changed. No longer was it just a hidden place beneath the city. It had become a space alive with light, warmth, and the energy of their experiments. Mara was already inside, kneeling near the generator they had perfected together. Ryan, she said, looking up with a bright smile. I've been waiting. I think today's the day we try the full setup. Ryan's heart raced. I'm ready, he replied. He stepped closer and helped adjust the final panels. The generator was now stable, designed to harness the tunnel's heat efficiently. Tonight, they planned to show the world, in a small but meaningful way, what the hidden tunnel could do. Together, they turned on the system. The lights along the tunnel walls glowed steadily, pulsing with warmth and energy. The gentle hum grew stronger, echoing softly through the abandoned passages. Above ground, faint ripples of light could be seen, flickering through cracks and vents. People walking nearby paused, looking at the unusual glow, curious but impressed. Mara's eyes sparkled. It's working, she whispered. People can see it now. Ryan grinned, feeling a rush of pride and excitement. We did it. I knew we could. They spent the next hour fine-tuning the system, adjusting the small vents and panels to make the energy more consistent. The tunnel seemed to respond to their attention, warmth spreading evenly along the walls. They moved side by side, hands brushing occasionally, each touch sending a quiet thrill through both of them. Finally, they stepped back to watch the full effect. The tunnel glowed beautifully, warm light filling the space. For the first time, the abandoned subway felt like a place of life, not neglect. It was a symbol of human creativity, dedication, and the spark of discovery that two people could create together. Mara turned to Ryan, her expression soft. "I couldn't have done this without you," she said. "You believed in me, even when I wasn't sure myself." Ryan shook his head gently. "We did this together. You were the one who saw the possibilities, who made this place alive. I just helped. And I'm glad I could be here with you." Mara's cheeks flushed slightly. She stepped closer, her eyes meeting his. "I'm glad too," she admitted softly. For a moment, the tunnel was quiet except for the hum of energy and their steady breaths. The warmth wrapped around them, and the soft glow reflected in their eyes. Both realized that this place, once abandoned and forgotten, had brought them together in a way neither had expected. Ryan reached out gently, taking Mara's hand. She didn't pull away, and the simple touch felt full of meaning, trust, care, and a quiet promise for the future. "I think," Ryan began, his voice soft, "that this tunnel isn't just about energy or experiments anymore. It's about us. About what we've built together." Mara smiled, squeezing his hand. "Yes," she said. "It's our place now. A place where ideas, dreams, and feelings can grow." They stood there, side by side, letting the warmth of the tunnel and the success of their work sink in. The city above might never fully understand the small miracle happening below, but it didn't matter. They had created something extraordinary together, and that was enough. As the night grew late, they carefully shut down the equipment, making notes for future improvements. But even as the lights dimmed, the glow between them did not fade. Their shared adventure, the trust, and the connection had grown into something steady and real. When they finally stepped out of the tunnel, the cool night air was refreshing, but neither of them wanted to leave the warmth behind. They paused, looking at the city lights above, then at each other. Ryan smiled. "We've done something incredible here," he said softly. "And I think this is just the beginning." Mara nodded, her eyes shining in the dim streetlight. "Yes," she agreed. "The tunnel, the experiments, and us. Everything has a future now." Hand in hand, they walked away from the entrance, knowing the abandoned subway was no longer forgotten. It had become a place of discovery, hope, and connection, a place where two people had found more than just warmth beneath the city. They had found each other. The city hummed around them, but in their hearts, they carried the tunnel's warmth, the glow of their success, and the first sparks of love. And as they disappeared into the streets above, it was clear that the abandoned subway tunnel had transformed not just the city, but the lives of the two people who had dared to explore it together.